This is a Tao Tao 50, and it is without a doubt the most hated two-wheeled vehicle in the world. They're notorious for breaking down right after you repair them, falling apart right before your eyes, and most importantly, it is the cheapest two-wheeled street-legal vehicle for sale on Amazon today. And I just bought it because we're going to find out if this thing really is as bad as everyone says that it is. So, I've always wanted to know, are these little scooters really as bad as they seem? Or does it have more to do with the owners? Now, I'm not saying that I think that these scooters are actually little Swiss watches. I know they fall apart. In fact, putting them back together again was some of the most reliable income I had while working in independent motorcycle shops. But how much of the disaster is the fault of the scooter, and how much of the blame belongs on the kinds of people who buy a $750 scooter on Amazon? Okay, so what exactly is it? Well, this is a Tao Tao ATM or Pony 50. And it is a 50cc, 4-stroke, air-cooled, Chinese, street-legal, twist-and-go automatic scooter. And yes, at the moment, it is the cheapest scooter for sale on Amazon. But I'm not in the business of doing clickbaity Amazon cheapest review videos. I like helping people and doing science. I bought this scooter because so many of you have it, and because it is absolutely hated all over the internet. I'm going to use it as my main source of transportation for 6 months. That means from June 1st until January 1st, this thing is going to be toting me all around Austin, Texas. I'm going to ride it to work, I'm going to take it to the grocery store, anything I need to do. I'm going to put it through the torture test of real daily life. And I'm going to see what $750 really gets you. Okay, there are times I'm going to have to drive my car. I am a gigging musician here in Austin, and currently there is no way for me to haul my gear to a show on this scooter. Yet. Now, I want to give this scooter a fighting chance. I want to be the best scooter owner I possibly can be. I'm going to do everything by the book. This book, the owner's manual, and more specifically the back of the owner's manual, where the service schedule is listed. That means that I'm going to be replacing my engine oil every 1,000 kilometers, and I'll be making my valve adjustments in increments of 4,000 kilometers. In addition to the service schedule, I'm going to set this vehicle up in accordance to this dealer PDI sheet. This is a checklist of everything that needs to be done before the scooter is delivered to the customer. That means that I need to change the engine oil, and I need to adjust the valves, and adjust the idle and check the charging system. All these sort of things you want to make sure are done completely and correctly. Now, I understand that keeping track of the raw data is going to be one of the most crucial parts of this experiment. So, I'll be keeping track of everything in this log. Every trip will have a date, mileage in, mileage out, and a section for notes. Anything remarkable about that trip, whether it was really hot outside, or if it was raining, or if I was in a really hilly area. I'm also going to be keeping track of the cost of ownership of this scooter. Now that means everything from the initial purchase price, to the cost of registration and insurance, to the cost of maintenance parts, and the cost of parts to repair this. Now, of course, I'm going to repair this scooter myself, but I'm going to keep track of the cost of labor as if it was billed to me by a motorcycle shop. But I'm completely committed to keeping this thing running for the entirety of the 6 months. That way we get a true cost of ownership of this scooter. That means no matter what happens, if this motor scatters on the side of the road, I'm going to do and pay whatever it takes to get this thing back running, as if it was my only mode of transportation. So, how can you guys keep up with me? Well, I'll be giving frequent updates on my Instagram and my Twitter account. And I'll be using the hashtag #LivingWithATaoTao. If you own a Tao Tao, feel free to jump on that hashtag too. Go ahead and post your follies and foibles and victories. And of course, I'll be making videos like this one as reference material for anyone who's considering buying one of these scooters. You'll come along with me as I go through taking delivery of my scooter and getting it registered and flat tires and breakdowns and all the different kinds of adventures you might have. And that brings me to the last part of this first video, my honest predictions. Now, I honestly do believe that if I service this thing exactly by the book and break in the motor and treat it well, that it will give me 5,000 miles relatively trouble-free. Now, in my experience working in independent motorcycle shops, I've never seen one of these 50s do more than 10,000 miles. In fact, I think the most I've ever seen on a Tao Tao 50 was 6,800. And I think that grenaded shortly after that. Anyway, for reference, I had multiple customers with Yamaha Vino 125s that did well over 35,000 miles with all the original parts. That means it still had the original stator and CDI and starter relay from the factory. Okay, but back to my predictions. Now, this is sort of getting in the realm of fortune telling and gambling, but I expect to have some sort of electrical issue right around 2,200 miles. Whether that's the charging system stops working or the ignition system stops working, something electrical. And I also think that I'll have a problem with the exhaust at around 3,800 miles. Now, I don't know if it's the exhaust construction, the way that the welds are welded, or if it has extra vibration or something, but the mufflers really seem to fall off these Chinese 50cc scooters. But there's one thing I'm pretty sure of. I won't be replacing these tires. You know, in my experience as a motorcycle technician, I have never replaced a tire on a Chinese scooter because it was worn out. Sure, I've replaced them because they had holes or because they were damaged in other ways, but I've never seen a motor last longer than a tire. Okay, so now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments what your predictions are. What do you think is going to break down and at what mileage? Or if you have an idea for some more data that you think I should be keeping track of, please leave me a comment about it. I'm pretty excited to do this experiment. I've been wanting to do it for several years now, and I'm really excited to take you along with me. So for the next 6 months, I'll be living with a Tao Tao.